3 new bills to fight violence against women will soon be law. They will amend the National Sexual Offenders Register and the Domestic Violence Act, also regulate bail conditions for people charged with sexual offences. For some reaction to these changes then, we're going to speak to Brenda Madumise-Pajibo, who's joining us. She's with Wise for Africa. It's a women's advocacy organisation. She joins us by Skype this afternoon. A very good afternoon to you, Ms. Pajibo. So these are 3 amendments that are now on their way to Parliament. Would I be right to say it's about time?
Oh, absolutely, and good afternoon. It is about time. I mean, these bills were in the making since last year. We were presented with the first draft in February this year, and we made our inputs, and there was then a call, public call for comment, which was closed, I think, end of April, and that's why you have a consolidated of all the comments. It's been sent to Cabinet, is going to Parliament, and I think there'll be a second step to all of us to make our views known again, if needs be.
And the whole idea here, just to quote from that briefing by the Justice Minister, Ronald Lamola, is to provide a victim-centered response in the criminal justice system, especially when we deal with cases of rape, tighten bail conditions, and so on. When you look at that, right, it's all well-intentioned, but in order for the law to come alive or find expression, you need the people at police stations, the people at rape centres to then effect these changes once they become law.
And that's the challenge, because, you know, we have been pretty good in putting together very cogent legislation and laws in this country, but we are failing in the application of that law. So if you're saying, if you look at the Domestic Violence Act that is being, the amendments that are being proposed, and is really around the issuing of protection orders, is to ensure that the police can issue a protection order on the scene, right, and remove the perpetrator. And it's now about is how the police are going to be sensitized to understand the new provisions of this law and to do exactly what is expected of them in that law.
The National Sexual Offenders Bill is a big one. Let's speak about why that is so important to have in place, because it took us a while to get to a process where it was as transparent and open as many of you as activists have said it should be.
Yeah, and it's long overdue. It's not. We are opening up the National Offenders Register, right? If we had this National Offenders Register before, and it was open, that we could all verify and confirm whether a perpetrator is on the list and is a sexual offender, would have been able to arrest and deal with some of the offenders that found themselves. If you look at the employee at the post office who killed Uyinene, if he was on the register, he would not have been employed at the post office. So this is long overdue, and it's welcome that we're now opening this register, and we're going to include all the offenders of sexual offences, violation and assault.
We're having this context, of course, in the context of this conversation, I beg your pardon, I just can't get the words out this afternoon. We're having this conversation in the context of Women's Month. Yeah. Often we do it as a box-ticking exercise. 9th of August, we all gather, we say all these wonderful things about women. How do we make 2020's Women's Day and Women's Month more meaningful beyond statements and platitudes?
Oh, my goodness. I think almost Africans are beginning to appreciate that we can't continue to make platitudes. We can't keep on playing to the gallery. We can't keep on thinking that by having lunches and saying Happy Women's Month or Happy Women's Day is enough. It requires action, it requires vigilance, it requires tenacity, it requires that all of us put our heads together to ensure that we live in a country that respects and protects the most vulnerable, but also appreciates that the women are equal are equal and deserve to be treated with respect, dignity, and equality. So we have to do the things that we say. We have to be seen to be doing them and not just saying them because it makes us feel good to say the things that we do. So most of us, when we say the things that we say, we actually follow up with action. So it's about the people who are part of this program who are listening. It's about you who's talking to all of us, that you, as you say what you say, that those words mean something to you and you start to act and make a difference.
Brenda Madumise-Pajibo, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, ma'am.